And welcome back from the break. Now, it is time for round 2 of the Betfred Super League. There were certainly some surprise results for round 1. Some of us a bit more respectable than others, and then there was just a plain wrong. Who the fuck thinks Wakefield can win in round 1 against Catalan? Anyway, round 2. So here we go. We are off to Salford Stadium for the first up game between the Devils and the Robins to kick off the proceedings of the second week of the Betfred Super League. Of course, Salford coming off a competitive win against Leeds, 20 points to 10, while the Robins, one of the real stories of round 1, downing the Wigan Warriors 27 to 18.
That was the surprise result of round. Well, one of these surprise results from round 1 was the opening games of the Super League, you could say. Who would have expected Wigan to lose?
Well, I wasn't expecting Wigan to lose, and probably 90% of all tipsters would probably think, oh yeah, it's Wigan, look at the back line. And they got Field, French, King, Wardle, Marshall, Smith, and Cust. How could they lose?
Well, they did.
I'll tell you what, Willie Peters must be on cloud 9 at the moment for the way the Robins stood up to this Wigan challenge.
Hard to agree.
And I got to say, there was some beautiful ball skills. I think the moment Hull KR got up with Sean Kenny Dow, pinpoint kick from Jordan Abdul to start things off, really.
Yeah.
He sort of helped set up the tone right there. And even when they lost Ryan Hall to a rib injury, who scored the first try, because, of course, Ryan Hall has to find his way onto the Hull KR score sheet.
I was going to say, a game of rugby league or a game of Super League isn't a game without Ryan Hall scoring at least once.
In one game.
Yeah, that too.
But try-scoring freak Ryan Hall, and it's just unfortunate he ended up doing his ribs after that.
That is unfortunate, but he will bounce back and come back.
But I tell you what, they really got onto the right side early, testing out the King and French combination, because Sean Kenny Dow absolutely terrorised them. There was some clean service, not just from him, but Lachlan Coos as well, that really put Wigan on the back foot. And I got to give it to the Robins captain. 3 tries, 125 run meters, 8 tackle breaks, 3 line breaks, and a single offload to his name, making him my first standout player choice of the year.
And to make things even better, Sean Kennedow's first try in his hat-trick was the first try he scored since April last year. What a way to break a drought of scoring a hat-trick.
Against really a title contender. Of course, Wigan had their own moments of spectacular brilliance. A cross-field kick, batted back by KPP, into the arms of the one Jai Field,
who ended up scoring. Again, like with Ryan Hall, a game isn't a game without Jai Field scoring.
Well, he was literally tearing up Super League last year. Him and Bevan French were just scoring tries for fun.
Exactly. And he's kicked off his game 1 with 1 try, so he'll build on that, obviously. Same with SKD, not SKD, well, SKD as well, but Ryan Hall.
He's amongst the top of try scorers for the moment. Mind you, it's only been round 1 and only 10 teams have played, so it's not a fairly accurate depiction. Now, Salford, on the other hand, debuted their 150th anniversary heritage look that looked very much like the Dewsbury Rams promoted.
Yeah, it did a little bit, but you got to throw it back.
It was definitely looking a lot better than Lee's efforts.
Oh, bloody oath. Celebrating your 150th anniversary, you're going to have a special jersey to go back to your foundations, and they did. It was a lucky charm for them.
The first 20 minutes could have gone either way. Seriously.
Yeah.
No one would have suspected Josh Charnley to get the first try up on the board for the Leopards, as they are now. But Lee just couldn't manage that game the way they handled the first 20.
Typical of them from when they were last in the Super League, to be quite honest with you. They get on early, but then just can't carry on with it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And once again, Brodie Croft kicked on as well. You sort of see, when Salford were on the back foot, trailing 4-0, who do they turn to straight up to create? That's exactly right. Now, he's gone at the halfback, opposing him. So he's sized up Lachlan Lamb, and he's he's found a way to put Callum Watkins through a hole. And then the real deal breaker for Lee, he going sour. He finds a little bit of space back through the middle. He puts Ryan Briley under the sticks. Salford takes control from there and never look back.
Exactly right there. But Lee were lucky to get the second try because they did have a one-man advantage as Mark Sneed got yellow carded.
Yeah, for a professional foul. So even when they were down to 12, Lee did not mount a big enough comeback to take the result away from Salford, giving Paul Rowley his second season a winning start.
But you had to give credit to Salford's defence, though, to keeping Lee out with a player down.
Oh, I definitely agree.
Like, really good sides, like your St. Helens and your Wigans and that, they keep the attacking side out when they're down a player. And Salford has done that. I'm not saying they're a top team like them, but they're a team that are, sometimes capable of doing that. They might not always be capable, but as history has gone on over in season 2021 and onwards, but yeah.
So, Brodie Croft, of course, my standout player, 112 run meters, 2 try assists, 2 tackle breaks, 1 line break, and 3 offloads. So, this will be a big test for Jordan Abdul now because he saw what Croft could do when he got Lachlan Lamb out of position. So, that's what Salford will be trying to do. They'll be looking to try and go crossway, try and go at the halfback, and then get Callum Watkins and Ken Seo, Dion Cross as much clean ball as they can.
They will be doing it. But just from that one game, Jordan Abdul looked a lot better than what he did in 2022. He had a very quiet season last season compared to what he had in 2021. But he's off to a good start. He'll build on that and will try and dent Salford. But like you said, Salford definitely trying to do what you said, try and get Cross, Watkins and see a lot of ball.
But at the same time, I think Salford also need to be wary that the Robins really moved the ball around against Wigan. They were really going for the big cutout passes to try and find space. If they catch Salford short either side, there's going to be tries are flowing. Now, of course, Ryan Hall will not feature in that game. And more than likely, I could probably think maybe Lewis Senior or Will Dagger get a second shot.
They'll probably say Senior first over Dagger.
Yeah, but I think this could be an easily competitive game. Both have got X factors in and around on both sides, but I think at home, I think there'll be a real buzz around Salford at the moment. I think they'll go back to back here. I think they'll go 1-6. I think they'll easily handle all Hull KR's sort of ball play and trying to spread it to the edges as fast as they can, and then return serve back up through the middle.
Well, I'm going to say Salford to win this one 1-6 as well. I'm going to say it's a very high scoring match, I'm going to say.
So you think this is going to be free-flowing?
High scoring, competitive, and close. I'll see in Salford's favour.
All right. Now moving on to the John Smith Stadium in Huddersfield for the first time this year as the Giants play host to the Wolves, who absolutely demolished the Leeds Rhinos 42 points to 10.
Okay, no one saw this one coming.
No, we were all predicting a Leeds win.
No. Well, being the runners up to the grand final, we thought Leeds will carry on. No. This is the Warrington side that we saw a lack of in 2022. And they came out firing.
Well,
yes, I know it's only early days. You can't get too much of a read on it. But this is what they needed. A really good start after a poor season last season.
To be fair, what Warrington did well was they controlled the middle of the field. They were in control for probably from the first 5 minutes onwards. It was through the middle where they absolutely smashed the Leeds forward pack. Under strength, but they still got rolled. Even if the good names on that side like O'Connor, Cameron Smith, if Tetevar, Arno, they were absolutely manhandled.
Yeah, exactly.
And Paul Vaughan led that charge. Now, the numbers fluctuate a bit. Officially, according to the Betfred Super League website, 210 run meters. 1 tackle break and 2 offloads, though some have it quoted at 278 run meters. But I got to say, he laid the platform for George Williams and Josh Drinkwater to do real damage.
Yeah, bloody oath he did. And that's what... He's kind of gone over there for a fresh start. And he's produced what he's capable of. Also with Matt Duffy scoring the opening try for Warrington as well. So, he's got some speed on him, as we're well aware, but he's kind of
The real test will be
open.
is when he gets into full flight. How good will he be? Especially if he's got to be marking up against Jai Field or Bevan French, as we were just saying.
Yeah, that's got to be a real tester.
But that's either here or there, because Warrington Wigan is still far away. But for the moment, Warrington's defence was also dramatically improved tenfold. With the control of the field, that meant Leeds didn't have much time in possession as they did, but still, a real lapse in concentration that led to the Justin Sangare try.
Had to agree with you there.
You can't afford to give away cheap tries like that. He was put through by Austin untouched. At least with Darrell Alfords, they had a chance where they could have put him in the touch, but just credit to the Leeds defence. They kept, attack I should say, lack thereof. They were able to come out in the second half, try and upset the
momentum.
That was going Warrington's way big time, but they just couldn't wrestle a more respectable scoreline out of it. It just dominated heavily through the forwards, where Warrington just carved up. And even Greg Minikin coming on late. Leeds had their own defensive lapses as well.
Yes.
Greg Minikin practically went for untouched, but best part of the night, George Williams, short chip, Cassiano coming down from the heavens. No way you could defend against that.
No, and he's making his Warrington debut and he scored a try, so that is unbelievable there. It was a pinpoint kick from George Williams. He's still got his kicking game accurate as what it was in 2022.
Now, the bad news is Warrington will go into the game without Matty Nicholson after he dislocated his shoulder in that win.
Ouch.
So, usually when you do your shoulder, it is either you're out for several months or you might as well hide off the rest of the year. How do you see this one panning out?
Oh, I don't think it'll be a rider footy. I'd say it'll be a few months out.
2 months at the most?
Yeah, I was thinking 6 weeks, yeah.
It'll be interesting because they were actually playing Peter Mataudi in the back row when Nicholson went off.
Bit of a surprise move there, but it didn't really seem to bother Warrington at all. They just kept on going with the game.
Now, the question is, can they back it up after putting on 7 tries to 2 against Leeds when Huddersfield play their first game of the year?
Well, if Huddersfield continue on from what they did last season, and be that kind of dark horse that they were, it could actually be a juicy matchup, to be quite honest with you. But I might lean towards Huddersfield. I've got a bit of a feeling for Huddersfield this season, as you heard in the previews earlier on in the year. But I'd say Huddersfield might sneak away with this one 1-6.
It'll be interesting to see how the Lolohea-Connor combination works out, because you've got 2 very different players, but both very much capable of playing fullback at the same time.
True.
And how Will Price is used, if at all, after he signed with the Knights for next year in Newcastle.
I'd say he'll get used as well.
I think this could get very interesting right here. You either got the match fit at Warrington or the fresh as a daisy Huddersfield to pick from. I'm not going to suffer fools twice. I think Warrington win this 7-12. I think Huddersfield might look to try and upset at them. The packs are pretty much even, but I think George Williams, Josh Drinkwater, so far, they've got the...
So you think it'll come down to the attack?
Yeah, I think the forward packs are pretty much even at this point, but I think Warrington will have that extra X factor with Drinkwater stabilising the ship and Williams running the show.
Yeah, fair enough. One goes either way. Obviously, me saying Huddersfield 1-6.
So one that says Warrington and to win it by at least 2 tries, the other says a try in it. Now over to the DW Stadium, where the Wigan Warriors will host their first home game of the year up against Wakefield Trinity.
Yeah, we touched on Wigan, but Wakefield. Wow.
Going down to the Catalan Dragons, 38-24. But not without a fight, it should be said.
I was going to say, this was a very competitive Wakefield side. The Wakefield side that we generally see at the back end of seasons, not at the start of seasons. And they actually took the lead at a few occasions, which was the really big surprise. But once Catalan found the rhythm and momentum in that, it was see you later.
this was a big test for Catalan as much as it was a test for Wakefield, because Catalan went into that game with several key players missing. The halves pairing was basically Adam Kiram and Cesar Rouge, who was in the halves. No Pierce, no Talkiaho. Mike McMeekin wasn't fit. Sam Tompkins wasn't playing either. So for an understrength Catalan side, it has to be said, to go to Bellevue with a Wakefield side with 0 to no expectation, and then you're right, Wakefield had the number early.
They certainly did, which I was caught by surprise of how well Wakefield were playing. But they just couldn't quite finish it off, which is what they did a fair bit of last year too. They might get the lead early, but they just couldn't finish it off.
I'll tell you what, the turning point was the second Tom Johnston try. That really turned the momentum in favour of the Catalan Dragons, because from there, the short kicking game, how many tries do you think Catalan scored off kicks? Because Matt Laguerre and Tom Davis were having a field day with a short kicking game from Cesar Rouge.
True. I think the majority of their tries, or maybe about half their tries, were off from kicks.
Some of them off kicks, and then, of course, the rest beautiful cutouts.
Oh, yeah.
Including the final one to Tom Johnston to complete his hat-trick. And he was my standout up from the Catalan Dragons. 3 tries, 189 run meters, 7 tackle breaks, and a line break in what is a real solid start to what has been a few shocking years for him on the field with injury.
Yeah, exactly. That's a way to get your confidence back after, like you just said, having a few shocking injuries. Scoring a hat-trick gives you confidence going into the long season ahead. There's still, 26 weeks to go.
Yeah, 26 rounds and a Challenge Cup tournament to get through. Wakefield, how would you rate that round 1 performance out of 10?
Out of 10? Probably an 8 out of 10, to be quite honest.
A losing side gets 8, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's just, like, they're not what we're used to seeing, to be quite honest. Like, we used to seeing Wakefield down near the bottom, like, playing poorly until the back end of the season when they start going on strongly. But the start of how strong they were against a side that could be in contention of, taking out the League Leaders Shield and the Championship. I think a solid 8 out of 10. Even a losing side.
Fair enough. Now, coming back to this one, the Wigan Warriors will be licking their wounds after being embarrassed practically in round 1. How do you think they'll readjust here?
Oh, I mean, surely Wigan will be able to bounce back in this one. Don't want to say I'm going to write off Wakefield, but the strength, like the side that Wakefield has against the side that Wigan has, it's just a big difference. And I think Wigan will be able to bounce back quite easily in this one.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, but I do think they have to sort of counter what Wakefield throw at them. And this is going to be met at defensively and depending how well the halves pull the strings. So I think for Wigan to do well, they need Harry Smith to get the forwards into a good position so then they can go to their strike weapons Field and French and company to really open the strings up here. But in front of a home crowd, I think the Warriors will bounce back, and I think they'll do it at least 7-12.
Yeah, I'm going to say 7-12 as well for the Wigan Warriors to get over Wakefield.
Now, the main Friday night game on Sky Sports sees the Leeds Rhinos hosting Hull FC at Headingley. Hull FC also walking away round 1 victors, battling the Castleford Tigers 32-30.
Just.
A narrow escape for Tony Smith in his first game in charge.
Well, Hull FC look like they're in control for the majority of the match. It's just at the back end where errors and mistakes are the same thing, but it's just errors started creeping in and let Castleford come back at them.
The pace was set early when Brad Dwyer got in the dummy half. I mean, he just jumped out of there and stole the first try for himself.
Yes.
And from there, I'd have to say, the imports of the overseas contingent, Tex Hoy and Jake Clifford, they really did something into that Hull FC lineup in the first half.
Yeah, they certainly did. But smart play from the scrum too, from Hull FC, passing out to Adam Swift to get double off scrums. That was a good part. Like, they passed it out to Clifford, who passed it out to Swift and that. But Castleford cannot be letting tries getting score from the scrum, especially back-to-back tries from the scrums.
Yeah, because they tried that with either both sides of the field. Hull opened it up for the wing as the end of the clear because they tried it with Darnell McIntosh as well. I gotta say, that second try, he was very lucky to get at the ball or bounce that right way.
Yeah, but okay, if you get one try for scrum every now and again, which does happen, you can let slide. But 2 in a one match and back-to-back, that is not acceptable in professional league like this. That's something that Castle will definitely need to work on ASAP, otherwise they're in for it. They're going to keep getting targeted down that same side from every single team until they fix it.
Well, I think really the second half fade out for Hull FC really did occur because Castleford were coming thick and fast, and Jacob Miller was basically leading the revival right there, giving the open space to Jake Mamo to put him away. And then, of course, also you have on the other side of the field, Mahe Fanua getting a bit of luck off some Gareth Widdop magic.
Yes.
But I'll tell you what, Hull got away with one there. They can't afford to let games like that slip. They were up 26-6 at half time.
Yeah.
And Castleford put on 3 tries in the second half to make it just a little bit tighter than they would have preferred.
3 tries to 1 in the second half, or whatever it was. But yeah, Hull FC were definitely lucky to get away with this one. Just while I'm touching on Hull FC, just in general, but the crowds at the games in round 1 were pretty solid, to be quite honest with you. I know Hull FC you could see from what we saw, pretty full on. Same with every other one. There was quite a big attendance in crowds for round 1 of the Super League. Maybe everyone's getting keen.
Back to the footy.
Pretty much.
Well, the new year, we'll see what comes of it. Now, Leeds, they have to really stick it because Hull FC's got a big pack as well. But the bad news is they will not have Carlos Chumavave back. Apparently there has been a setback with him. He is likely to still be missing in game time, especially going into that showdown against the Leeds Rhinos. With Tony Smith speaking to Hull Live saying he's not doing a whole lot. He's not aggravated the injury itself. He's been advised to give it at least another week or 2.
So taking a bit of a cautious approach.
Yes.
Which is smart to do at the start of the season, unless it's now and not when it's a critical match where you're going to play, like, do or die in the eliminator or, like, playing for the top 6 spot.
So in the best case scenario, he won't be back against Leeds, but he could be fit for the trip to the south of France, or if not, it's round 4 at the earliest he will be available. But the good news is the engine room's going to get some reinforcements. The speculation, Lee Sao and Andre Savelio are available for selection for Tony Smith, so I could imagine Sao getting picked for spot in the front row and Andre Savelio battling it out for a back row spot between Lane and Joe Cater, who's got some game time under his belt for the first time in a while.
Well, that's good for him to get some game time. He'll work on what he has learnt from playing a game, especially after being a long time when he hasn't been playing. So, no good. He's getting some minutes. More minutes, the better off you're going to be.
I think if Leeds can't match the 4-pack challenge, they're going to get dominated again. I'm going to go with Hull FC 1-6.
Look, I thought I was going to go towards Leeds, but I actually might go towards Hull FC as well in the same margin as you, 1-6. The rate that Hull FC performed compared to how Leeds Rhinos performed is a bit of a difference.
The only problem I have would be game management. They can't afford to let this game slip.
True.
We saw what Leeds were able to do, albeit in vain. They were able to put 2 tries together in the second half against Warrington. They can't afford to give Leeds any sniff here. Yeah, because if they do, who knows what could happen. That game could easily be in the balance. Austin and Caesar click, and then that could be fat L's all over the wall for Tony Smith and the black and whites.
You pretty much took the words out of my mouth yet again. I was going to say, if Hull FC die off and Leeds click, Leeds will actually have a massive chance of winning it. But still, Hull C 1-6.
Game management, very important for Hull FC. Now, off to the south of France, the Catalan Dragons play host to the Lille Leopards. There's still some speculation on the injury front, of course, missing Mitchell Pearce and Siosiwa Tagiaho, as we just covered. So, would you expect for them to be past fit for this game?
Look, I don't know. They might not risk it. Especially Takiaho. They might give it at least another week, but see what happens.
It'll be interesting to see whether or not Steve McNamara sticks with the same spine he ran out with in round 1, because to be quite fair, that spine played pretty well given the circumstances.
It certainly was. It was like a makeshift spine. It wasn't their number one spine in what they would hope for, but they still did quite solid, in all honesty, though.
I think there is a major class difference between Lee and Catalan, and that's going to go down right here. And I think if they get a whole host of players back, if McMeekin, Tompkins, and Pearce are all past fit, Lee are in big trouble right here.
Bloody oath they
I'm
will
going to
be.
give the Catalan Dragons 13-20 win right here.
Yeah, if they are all fit. It's a big if, though.
If not, then the margin's probably down 7-12, but it's still a Catalan win.
Oh, yeah. Catalan win either way, but I'm presuming that Sam Tompkins, Mitchell Pearce, and all the likes will be past fit. I'm going to say... You know what? I'm going to say 20 plus.
So you're going 21 plus for this
21
one.
plus, yeah.
So it's a big win in the south of France for the Perpignan men.
That's
And
it.
finally, on Channel 4 to round out round 2, we have the Castleford Tigers at the Jungle playing the defending champion St Helens.
Okay, so as we just are well aware, St Helens will be back over in England for the first time after playing 2 games out here in Australia. And I believe they were camping out at Manly for the 2 weeks or so I've heard.
And then they moved out to Western Sydney.
Yes. So they'll be jet lagged.
Yeah, they'll be jet lag.
Which will have an effect on this one. And right that Castleford came back, don't know how they will go, though.
Well, that is the question. Of course, the Tigers have no real injury concerns at the moment, though there could be more heckling considering what was transpired with Castleford loose forward Joe Westerman and some happy fun time, non-Mitchell Pearce dog joke type scenarios.
Yeah, true.
But look, I think they have probably caught champions at the most opportune time. Jet lagged, but does that really count for anything?
I mean, it's, just say about 24 hours behind.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Give or take, but...
On the upside, they don't have to face off against either Joe Batchelor or Tommy Makinson. Of course, Batchelor ruled out due to injury, and Makinson forced to stand down under concussion protocol. So
yes,
I would expect no real changes to St Helens' lineup. Maybe Jonathan Bennison gets a call up with Makinson
I'd
and
say
ruled
so.
out. So maybe Hopper Waddy shifts to the right wing, and then Bennison will get his first start of the year playing outside of Mark Percival. Other than that, no real changes to the forward pack. I think and Curtis Sirinen stays where he is because he's actually done pretty good on this tour.
He had a bloody good game against Penrith, to be quite honest with you.
And his developing combination with Conrad Hurrell could prove useful for the Saints as well.
Very much so. But yeah, I reckon Bennison will start with not Lomax, Bennison instead of
Makinson.
That one.
Just for the
Makinson.
week with Makinson stood down under concussion protocol.
Yeah. But look, I think the jet lag will really play an effect to St Helens. Like, they've come out here, played a solid game against the Dragons. It was competitive in the first half, then they just pushed on with it. And another very competitive game against Penrith in what was changing conditions. But that will have an effect, I reckon. So I reckon Castleford might sneak away with this one, 7-12.
I definitely think jet lag plays a factor here, but I think St Helens is just too strong. They will just be too strong, I think. And they've had at least 2 good weeks of trying to build combinations together, and I think they'll go into this first Super League game full of confidence, especially considering their extra special cargo of the World Club Challenge trophy is also in their baggage. So they'll have probably a function day to present the trophy to their home faithful. Then they'll travel across the Castlewood, and then they'll back it up from there. Best in the world they are. I think St Helens will take this one home 1-6 for their first win of the year.
One St Helens supporter saying 1-6. One Castleford non-supporter saying 7-12.
And on that note, it is full time here from us. If you like this part or the part that came just before it, make sure you leave this video a like. Hit that subscribe button, click the bell for notifications so you never miss a week of rugby league action. Don't forget to give us a follow on our social media pages on Facebook and on Instagram. And it is at Sideline Chat, and on Twitter it is at Sideline Chat RL, and our hashtag is SideChatYT. Hope you enjoy round 2 of the Betfred Super League coming up, and we'll show you what on our final ladders and grand final predictions are for the NRL. By the way, only one more week before the NRL starts, so it's going to get very busy down under here.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be. It's just building up to be a cracker of a season across England and here in Australia.
The greatest game of all, and thank God it is back once again. Along with Mark Henry, I'm Connor Marcellus, and you have been listening to the Sideline Chat podcast. We'll see you next week.
Bye, folks.